In this video, we will look at a few examples to practice working with cylinders, in particular with surface area and volume. In example A, it says to find the surface area of the cylinder. And what we're given is the radius of the circle for the base and the height of the full cylinder. Now, to figure out the surface area, we need to remember that a cylinder is made up of basically three faces. It has a circle on top, a circle on the bottom, and then it has this lateral surface, which when unwrapped is a rectangle. So the area of each of those circles is pi r squared. And then the area of the rectangle is the circumference of the circle times the height. So it's 2 pi r h. That gives us our general formula of 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. So in this case, we know that the radius of the circle is 4 and the height, h, is 12. So we can substitute in those quantities into our formula in order to get our answer. So we know that the radius is 4. So I'm going to substitute in 4 for r, and the height is 12. Now you want to keep simplifying. 4 squared is 16 and multiply by 2 and you get 32. So this part is 32 pi. Over here, 4 times 12 is 48 and then times 2 is 96. So we get 96 pi, and then we can combine these together in order to get 128 pi. Now I'm just going to leave it in terms of pi, but you could substitute in 3.14 to get an approximate answer if you want. And then because it's surface area, we want units squared, because surface area is how many squares would it take, little unit squares, to cover the whole cylinder. In example B, it says the circumference of the base of a cylinder is 16 pi and the height is 21. Find the surface area of the cylinder. So we know the circumference, that means the distance around the base here, is 16 pi. And we also know that the height is 21. So let's use the 16 pi to help us figure out what the radius of the circle must be. Now circumference is 2 pi r. So if we know that the circumference is 16 pi, we can set up this little equation to solve for the radius. Divide both sides by 2 pi, and that gives you that 8 equals the radius. So we really know that the radius right here is 8. Now remember, our formula for surface area is 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h, and that's for a cylinder. So we know our radius is 8 and our height over here is 21. So we can substitute those numbers in. So it's 2 pi times 8 squared plus 2 pi times 8 times 21. And now you just want to simplify this. We get 128 pi over here because 8 squared is 64 times 2 is 128. And 336 pi over here. So combine those together and you get the surface area is 464 pi, and that would be units squared because it's a surface area. All right, let's look at example C. Find the volume of the cylinder. So for volume of a cylinder, we need the area of the base, which is pi r squared, times the height. In this case, we know that the height is 21, the diameter is 16, which means that the radius must be half of that, or 8. So this is our r. The radius is 8. So plug those in, and we have pi times 8 squared times 21, which gives us 1,344 pi. And for our units, we want units cubed because we're talking about a volume. And volume is asking you how many little unit cubes would it take to fill up the whole solid.